Welcome to another beautiful Sunday. The pleasure is all mine to bring you Eye on Port. Eye on Port is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Gold PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times BNFT. Remember, you can also join us live at all our social media platforms. On Facebook, we're streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, also at the Port of Tema, and on YouTube, we are live on Eye on Port. You also get the opportunity to interact with us via our dedicated WhatsApp line. It's 0538-037353, 0538-037353. We'll also be opening the phone lines in the course of the show for you to make your contributions towards the discussion. So grab your phones, let's get interactive. I'll be back shortly.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP will feel ya, huh? Will be feel. Goil, good energy. Yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, streetlights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Every day we step out with purpose to work, to build, to provide, to dream. But sometimes life takes an unexpected turn. An accident, a fire outbreak, a medical emergency. Moments we never planned for. And when they happen, the right support changes everything. Hi, I'm Serena, and at Serene Insurance, we stand with you through every challenge and every victory. Protected your family, your business, your job, your future, and you. Our services include motor, fire, marine, engineering, aviation, and bonds and guarantees are tailored to suit your needs. Because insurance is not just about policies, it's about peace of mind, confidence, and knowing that no matter what happens, you are covered. Visit our website to view our insurance policies right now. Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Across the corridor and every major yard, JAPT is the choice of over 11,000 professional drivers. Visit our kiosk to register. Join a community built on safety, savings, and success. Get your official high-vis gear and your personalized JAPT ID, your key to a smarter journey. With over 11,000 members, you are never driving alone. This is the JAPT standard of excellence. Tap your card for instant fuel discounts at Shell. Save more on every fill and keep your profits high. Maximize your earnings with our real-time load board. Find your next haul instantly.
So throughout the week, a lot has happened at the port and the maritime sector. This is just by way of update.
Authority is stepping up collaboration with freight forwarders, importers, exporters, terminal operators, and other key stakeholders to ease cargo congestion at the port of Tema. The immediate focus is on the evacuation of empty containers as increasing container volumes continue to put pressure on available space within the port. The Director General of GPHA, Major General Paul Seydou Tanya Kulunu, says GPHA has deployed a number of immediate measures, including engaging shipping lines to deploy vessels to evacuate empty containers, while discussions are underway to increase tracking capacity and utilize additional spaces within and around Tema.
So we have agreed in principle now, whatever comes in, as much as possible, they should move as many empty containers as possible. And they've given him the schedule of evacuation. And then two, we have also compiled the location and data of all empty containers in each of the terminals, shipping line by shipping line, so that we know that we are going to have a template, and on that template we will say maybe GGT, we have 5,000 containers, and out of this 5,000, MSC, yours is 4,000, Maersk, yours is this, Epac Lodge, yours is big. GPHA, we have on our own, because our area cannot contain bigger vessels, we've been able to arrange with some of the smaller vessels. They've evacuated most of some of the empty containers as early as possible. We have impressed upon MPS to do the same, so that, and we have also agreed that they should reduce transshipments, because if we have a lot of transshipments, they will concentrate on the movement of the transshipment to other ports instead of moving the empty containers out. As we speak, our reefer is full. MPS too is full. So if we want to go the normal way of doing business, where it will be moved from MPS to our place before we clear, it may delay. So we have agreed that in the interim, we can clear directly from MPS. We clear directly from our place too until the situation normalizes. Then we go back to the status quo.
According to terminal operator MPS, measures introduced to facilitate expedited delivery, especially of refrigerated boxes, are already producing results, with more interventions tabled immediately.
Generally, it is fine. We've installed plug-in points at 8 bays at the platform. It's quite interesting to know that not all the agents want to plug, but we've made it mandatory. We will plug the reefer while it's open for examination at no extra cost to shipper or agent. No extra cost. Freight forwarders have meanwhile called for regular updates on the interventions, saying timely information will help
agents plan effectively and avoid unnecessary delays. They say immediate measures coupled with longer-term investment in road infrastructure and additional logistics space are critical to sustaining efficient cargo movement as Ghana's trade volumes continue to grow.
I also think that there's Dawa Park. I don't know whether if it has come to attention. That Dawa Park sitting at the winner there is government property. I don't know what is going on. It's a huge facility. It's a huge facility. Bricks has been fixed. It's open space. Why can't you reach out to government to see whether is it possible some boxes can be taken there to that Dawa Park? As others are suggesting that containers can be evacuated in the night because it's very spacious.
We should have a certain port community where we have customs, everybody in this session, where we can break ourselves into groups and probably come up with innovative ideas.
The engagement underscores a shared commitment among GPHA and its partners to create space within the port, improve cargo evacuation, and keep Ghana's trade and revenue-generating activities moving efficiently.
The leadership of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, GIF, together with clearing agents and importers, have called on the Ghana Shippers Authority, GSA, to take stronger action against shipping lines that continue to charge old container administrative fees despite court ruling in favor of the authority. The call comes amid growing concerns among stakeholders and port users over the high cost of doing business at Ghana's ports. The stakeholders made the call during an engagement with the GSA to address concerns over the discrepancies between the authority's directive on administrative charges and the fees reflected on invoices issued by some shipping lines. According to the stakeholders, some shipping lines continue to impose charges above the revised amounts directed by the GSA, placing an additional financial burden on importers and other port users. Eastern Zonal Manager of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Charles Darlin Say, explained that the implementation of the revised charges requires some legal and administrative processes, adding that the authority has begun engaging the affected shipping line and will intensify monitoring to identify those complying with the directive. He assured stakeholders that the authority would take the necessary step to ensure compliance in accordance with the law.
We are going to work and ensure that the law is complied with, and that is the work and the mandate that has been given to the authority. And through the CEO, he's giving all of us the support and all that we require to ensure that we implement the law appropriately. This one we have had meeting here in Tema, seeing how best, and this week we have to also do monitoring to see those who are compliant, those who are not complying. But I can only say that just it's a matter of time. We're going to work and ensure that all of us complied with the law.
Meanwhile, some stakeholders have urged GSA to apply sanctions against shipping lines that continue to disregard its directive in accordance with the Ghana Shippers Authorities Act 2024, Act 1122. Chairman of the Tema chapter of GIF, Johnny Mante, insists that the GSA must ensure shipping lines comply with the charges approved by the government.
The reason why today we have come together, not just as freight forwarders, but together with traders, to ensure that they comply with the rules of the game. GSA is the only body that regulates the commercial aspect of the shipping space. Why? Because we know that if GSA does not do that, we cannot buy anything from the market. Can you imagine if this was a free-for-all? Everybody will be charging what they want. Just as freely bring your charges. Let me look at it. I will compare with neighboring countries. I will compare with exactly what you are charging and then see if it's okay. Then I approve. End of story. You see, over time, what the lines have been doing, they don't even consult this. You don't judge whatever, they put it in the air. Look, are you aware that today, some shipping lines, especially today MSNU, when you do a demurrage appeal, so for instance, your container is on demurrage and you apply for waiver, do you know what they do? You have to pay $100 non-refundable fee before they even look at your case. Is GSA aware of this?
An executive member and public relation officer of the Tema chapter of GIF also called for stronger enforcement, stressing that decisive action is necessary to protect shippers and restore confidence in the regulatory system.
We are calling on the President of the Republic, we are calling on the Parliament of Ghana we are calling on the judiciary, because if these three arms of government have been totally disregarded and disobeyed by these shipping lines, what will bring these shipping lines to book? It will take maybe something like a loot. We don't want to get there. But if authorities do not intervene, it will get to a point this situation will get out of hand and you can't control anybody. That is why we are sounding this note that every leader who is concerned in this industry must get up, call the shipping lines to order. They should comply and apply themselves to the laws of Ghana.
Meanwhile, the Ship Owners and Agents Association of Ghana, SOAG, has called for cool heads to prevail on the matter. According to an executive member of the association, Adam Imoro Ayana, all players must come together to find a lasting solution to the matter.
Let's let things play out. For all you know, we might not even finish at the courts. We might come to the table to talk about these issues. Because what's the fundamental? The fundamental is somebody saying that this is the service I render, and I render it at a certain cost. So I have to recover and maybe, hopefully, make some profit. And somebody saying, no, you cannot charge this amount and you have to. So there should be some compromise along the line. And I'm sure ourselves and GSA should rise above all the issues and get people's mind at ease.
On the international front, a lot more has happened. TNPA has advanced its ship repair expansion at Cape Town Port, and Royal Navy trucks have risen Russian activity in UK waters.
Transnet National Port Authority, TNPA, has issued a request for proposals for an operator to develop and manage a floating dry dock at the Port of Cape Town under a 25-year concession. The facility is expected to expand the port's capacity to service regional and international vessels and strengthen its position as a major ship repair hub. The project forms part of TNPA's ship repair and marine manufacturing strategy aimed at developing South Africa into a leading center for ship repair and marine manufacturing. The initiative will involve private sector investment in the design, construction, operation, and maintenance of the floating dry dock, supporting the growth of South Africa's maritime industry. The UK Royal Navy says Russian naval activity in UK waters and the North Atlantic increased by 25% in the first 7 months of 2026, with warships and aircraft spending 21 days monitoring movements in July. The Navy says Russia has increased escorts for military cargo ships and tankers, particularly vessels linked to the so-called Shadow Fleet as they transit the North Sea and English Channel. The UK has intensified efforts against the Shadow Fleet, having sanctioned more than 500 vessels and recently detained the sanctioned tanker Smitos in the English Channel. In July, HMS Tyne monitored Russian frigate Notrashimi from 5 nautical miles away as it conducted gunnery exercises, recording around 20 rounds from its 100mm gun and additional fire from its 30mm battery.
Those were just by way of updates for you, both locally and internationally. Time now to check out the phrase of the day. It's dry dock. Dry dock.
Dry dock. A dry dock is a facility that allows a vessel to be completely removed from the water for inspection, maintenance, and repairs. Once the vessel is positioned inside, the dock is drained, giving workers safe access to the ship's underwater hull and machinery.
And as usual, we are much more concerned about your health. That's why we always keep you abreast with what you can do to ensure you're healthy. Today, we're educating you on snapback zones. Snapback zones.
Snapback zone. A snapback zone is the area where a mooring line is likely to recoil if it breaks under tension. Always identify and stay clear of snapback zones during mooring and unmooring operations. A parted mooring line can recall at speeds exceeding 700 kilometers per hour, making it one of the deadliest hazards on a ship or terminal.
And you're still watching Iron Port. Remember, Iron Port is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA. Now, every day, thousands of dollars of containers pass through the Tema and Takoradi harbors across the world. Now, to protect these cargoes, the UN Convention on Negotiable Cargo Documents has been adopted to modernize and standardize bills of lading and other cargo documents for the digital age. For Ghana, a major trading and transit hub, this convention could reduce fraud, speed up clearance, cut trade costs, and make our ports more competitive. And also this week, if you've been listening to the news, Ghana's President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has announced plans to bring on board Caribbean countries to participate in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to strengthen trade, investment, and cultural ties. So while stakeholders have welcomed this move, the question remains, what does this mean for Ghanaian businesses? I'm talking about also farmers, manufacturers, and the diaspora. And this also raises the question about awareness of AFTA, that's the African Continental Free Trade Area, as an Afrobarometer reveals only 13% of Africans are aware of AFTA agreement. According to the report, awareness is heavily skewed towards the highly educated and the informed. What is causing this evening? We are highlighting the importance of the UN Negotiable Cargo Document for continental trade and why it matters to importers, exporters, freight forwarders, banks, and insurers, and whether Ghana is well poised for its implementation. We will also be focusing our discussion on how Caribbean economies could fit into AFTA, the opportunities, the challenges, while exploring which sector stands to gain in terms of jobs, markets, and reconnection of the two regions separated by the Atlantic but linked by history. Plus, we'll be exploring ways of increasing awareness of AFTA to move it from a policy document to a people's agreement, which will in turn strengthen trade and investment. And to do this with me in the studio are some two fine brains. I've been joined by Louis Yao Afo. He's international trade, AFTA and investment promotion consultant. Also in the studio with me is Bright Gowunu, Chief Technical Advisor, International Trade, Africa Trade Academy. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, and it's really refreshing to see you and to discuss this document. And I think that to set the tone for this discussion, we first need to understand and have a clearer view of the document we're talking about, the UN Convention on Negotiable Cargo Documents. What is it? Let me start with you, Louis.
Well, I would say that in a simple man terms, you know, we used to have trading already using documents, a lot of documents. This one is more like electronic. It was a convention that was adopted in 2025.
Okay.
Now, you see, in a lay, let me capture this scenario. It's like negotiable document of goods in transit.
Okay.
Whereby that document itself will become a commercial property. It can become a commercial document.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if in those times the manufacturer now it goes to the seller, document, shipping, and then comes down to the port, physical goods. This one, the only change that will be is that if my brother imports from India, he is exporting from India. I am in Ghana. I don't necessarily have to see the physical goods in 3 weeks' time or 4 weeks' time for the goods to be a commercial document, a commercial property.
Okay.
However, whilst in transit, there can be a negotiable exchange of ownership.
Okay.
Of the commodity, such that at the end of the day, whilst in transit, the original, what do you call it, the buyer, the document can change hands.
Okay, to another, a different owner.
Different owner. So that you don't have to wait for you to come to Accra after the 3 weeks or 4 weeks before.
You can.
And the good thing it does is that it saves a lot of those who don't have capital. So, for example, if whilst on sea, I realized that 3 weeks time when it comes, I don't get money to even
to take it out of the port to be able to.
And I have him who, whatever means it is, there is, and we're able to negotiate the document and the commercial value of whatever it is. At the end of the day, it can be redirected, the destination of those goods. So the document itself is a commercial document. Prior to when it was normal paper document, but this one can be electronic, but it's commercial. In other words, it's not just a normal document. I can use it to it can be in the good hands of a banker. So at the end of the day, it maybe it's ordinary terms, maybe I'm shipping, what do you call it? I've imported, sugar. And then this sugar in that huge quantity. At the end of the day, I know that in a month's time, when it comes, it's going to take too long on sea. And by the way, it's not only on sea. We roll, rail, and what have you. And at the end of the day, I realize that by the time it comes, I might not even have the money to, and then the value. So that document covering that shipment, it can be negotiable to another buyer who, before it comes, can also rearrange the destination where it's supposed to go. It might not even come to Accra physically. So this kind of arrangement is what this document seems to explain. It's not moving away from the traditional. I know it is. It's not moving, but it's an improvement upon the physical paper to a more electronic base also.
I want to understand something. Is there really a problem that this is coming to resolve? Yeah. Is there a problem that is coming to resolve?
Well, first of all, let me add to my colleague contribution. You know, international trade is governed by law, call it convention. So this United Nations Convention on Negotiable Cargo document, first of all, it's a legal framework. And it is meant to do two things. One, is used to govern the issuance and the use of cargo in terms of document that is accompanying it. So issuance and the use of negotiable document. And also, it is a document of title, which is in both paper form and electronic form, and it represents goods in transit. The importance of this is that, you know, maritime trade is now one of the key documents in maritime trade is what we call Bill of Lading.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the benefit of Bill of Lading is what is being extended to cover other means of transport, by rail, by air, by sea. So the importance of this new legal framework is to create or encourage a multimodal system of transport, okay? So for us, it is very important in the sense that in West Africa, or for Ghana, to make our ports attractive, we have economic operators from the neighboring countries that are using our ports. What it means is that once your Bill of Lading, this document come into being, it limit delay, okay? Because it is issued electronically. So by the time your good reach you, the agent or the owner of the cargo, you already have access to it, and you can take it to the shipper and then start the processing. For you, the banker, it facilitates what we call a trade finance. And for custom, it's going to facilitate the clearance process. So we are going to cut down on delay. It's going to be electronic form. So the paper way of doing things is going to be reduced. This is how I think that this particular document, if come into being, is going to contribute largely into trade facilitation and make our port very attractive.
Okay, so for the average Ghanaian, why should they know about it? I'm talking about the trader, I'm talking about the importer. Why should they know about this document?
So the key issue here is finance, trade finance, one thing embedded is that you see, most of the time, the trade orders is normally not about the customers. It's about your ability to finance. So at the end of the day, what the ordinary person should know is that, yes, that document is a financial instrument in itself. It's a financial instrument in itself, whereby at the end of the day, it's attractive for another person to take ownership of it. So that at the end of the day, you will still get whatever you need to get, but it will be facilitated easier and earlier. So like Gonu was saying. So at the end of the day, like I give a critical example. You have, let's say, a 2-ship tone of sugar coming. Okay? Yes, it's an order, but you don't have the financing ability and instrument. You need to get, a bank can own it. They can come on board. I said, okay, in 2 weeks' time, there is a way, means how we'll be able to negotiate that consignment through this convention, so that at the end of the day, I'm able to offload it, even in transit. I will get a bank or whatever to finance it. That document itself is financeable. So at the end of the day, you are relieved. It can get into the hands of another good buyer, owner, still within international conventions. I mean, to the ordinary. In fact, there was this organization, we used to work with them, called Digital Trade. They have worked with ICC for 25 years, International Chamber of Commerce. You know, those who build this Incoterms and what have you. And they are in the US. In fact, we were working with them for 2 years. And they have built a similar type, a paperless kind of trade facilitation. And so I see, and what they do is that they even go to the extent that you might not even see the buyer-seller, but the document, if it's well grounded, at the end of the day, even they go to the extent that if it happens that the good does not get to the final person, and maybe you are in Ghana, they have worked so close with their US embassies and FBI, so that you lie, you'll be picked up. So there were other organizations have been working similarly like that. So for me, I see it as, in summary, a more trade finance approach to help facilitate trade.
Let's talk about after and how this whole thing affects the position and the after. Let Louise handle that for me, and then I'll come to you. Right.
Same issue?
Yes, how this will affect Ghana's position.
Oh, you mean the
and the after this the UN convention negotiable document we're talking about.
I don't know. I mean, basically, you're not going to have any big issue. It's about it's a trade document. It is in transit. So the goods, after is looking at within Africa. So the goods can even be on international waters from what do you call Egypt coming to Ghana. You are still within, you are part of the UN. So it's a convention that is binding you. It is not about a trade issue. It's not about product issue. It's about transit. It's about goods in transit.
Okay.
So within after it's encouraging you to import and export within among yourselves.
So if you look at the after agreement, there are a number of protocols. One of the protocol is the protocol on digital trade. The purpose of this particular protocol includes other things, is to streamline and then make trade a little bit more easier than we used to do in paper way. Now, it also seeks to harmonize three things: innovation, technology, and e-commerce. If you look at that, if you look from that perspective, you will realize that the coming into being of this particular convention is in line with the after objective as far as digital trade is concerned, because digitization will facilitate trade, where global trade can be done easily than we used to do. So for me, I think that the two initiatives are in line, and it's going to facilitate trade that will benefit the business community at large.
When we talk about financing, Louis gave a hint of the issue of financing in this whole trade chain. Now we're talking about how the current system affects trade finance. I'm asking this, whether banks are hesitant, okay, to fund certain deals because of document risk?
Yes, banks in general are very careful when they come to financing trade. And, you know, in international trade, the document you hold is as good as the cargo you have.
True.
Okay?
True.
So this document, we say it's a document of title.
Okay.
Okay? So once the agreement is signed by member states of the United Nations and the instrument of ratification or the instrument of accession is ratified and deposited by member states, then it becomes legal. So therefore, when you ship your cargo, you can easily transfer the ownership. You can transfer title of that. So if it is backed by international convention, it gives the bank the confidence, the trust, the credibility needed in order to consider it as a valid document, like we do for letters of credit.
Okay.
You know, it's the same way we are going. So in brief, this document is just to extend the benefit that we derive, that we already have with a bill of lading to cover multimodal transport, rail, water, sea.
Okay. Okay. So, so I get that bit of it, and so we are all certain about the finance bit. So this document, for instance, will help you if you don't even have money to clear your goods at the port. You have the opportunity to change or transfer to another person whilst en route.
Sure.
Looking at the broader picture.
The broader picture. So how does this help in cargo clearance and also reduce congestion at the port? We've always talked about this.
So basically, that has to do with the services that the port have over the years been doing.
Provided.
Because this one, you know the volume of trade.
Yeah.
You know the traffic. So for one, this one is dealing with the finance bit of an electronic document of a goods in transit.
Okay.
So in a month, how many ships do you dock here?
Okay.
That's what you should know.
Have those.
And okay, if the finance bit of it is taken care of, then of course you are going to have you are going to ease
the congestion
and also improve
because the cargo will come and will not stay there for 3 weeks because there's already financing the removal of the cargo from the port.
And you go on, said so. I hope I mentioned. Is it French name?
Right, it's fine.
Right, yes. With the issue you were talking about, the finance like this, banks are there for advance payments and guarantees. And sometimes they are very important because they give the assurance. For example, if I go to Morocco to go and order some goods, and the bank become the intermediary, financiers, intermediary to facilitate it.
Yeah.
The assurance and guarantees are higher and better. Because I can tell you, you can get an agent there, he might not be a Ghanaian. By the time you finish payment and whatever, if you want to get the banks out of this process, and by the way, that also can be international money laundering. So, yeah. So you this agent, you turn around, he doesn't put the goods inside. Meanwhile, you have made some payment. The bank can help you in that to recover because they will have their contacts and counterpart in Morocco.
Okay.
That's why most people go to China to go and buy. When they get there, they stay there for 3 weeks to ensure that the goods are already shipped before they even leave. Because sometimes when the banks are not facilitating this finance, it becomes a bit difficult. You know, so that is just a bit of the other side of it.
Yeah. So so basically, we know that once the issue of financing is dealt with, then the clearance at the port becomes easier because mostly people keep their containers and cargoes there for long, probably because of financial constraints. So but what does Ghana lose in not? This thing has been adopted, I'm told.
Yeah.
So we are just to sign after everything is settled. Will Ghana become less competitive compared to other ports if Ghana decides, for instance,
Sure.
not to sign the document?
Sure. So if we decided as a nation not to sign this convention, what means that we are going to be behind.
Okay.
Okay?
Explain to me.
What is going to mean that we are going to rely on paper document instead of taking advantage of the digital revolution.
Okay.
Okay? It will make our process at the port a little bit, delay will be more.
Okay.
And then that delay will also result in consequential costs to the business community. And I want to believe that, given that even the initial conversation about this particular conversation started in Ghana, and I do understand that come October, there will be the signing, the arrangement for it to be signed, and then the ratification process will start. I believe that Ghana will take advantage of this opportunity and sign so that our port will be competitive. As it is now, most of our port users are from Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, the neighboring countries.
Okay.
It is important that we sign it so that they can find our port attractive, and that will lead to what? Creation of job, investment, and industrialization to make our corridor more attractive and useful for all of us.
Okay.
You know, there is this multiplier effect when the multimodal system of transport is used. You know, when a cargo leaves the port, it takes the route all the way to the border. Can you imagine the economic activity that is created on that corridor? So if we sign this agreement, it will make more of these businessmen and women to come and use our port. Unfortunately, if we don't do it, it means that they will go to the other neighboring countries to use their port, and that will have a negative impact on us. Yeah.
Let's look at the impact of this whole thing on trade generally, Louise.
It's good. Like I said, I mean, in addition to what he said, if you don't accept what you are going to ratify and sign, the world is moving. Secondly, as I said, trade finance is the belly of trade. And so if you have a portion of your citizens who say they don't have the money to import, and they've been able to make some impact by getting some finance, and you said, okay, you are not going to ratify this, so it means therefore that somebody from another trading country cannot engage in this kind of negotiable cargo document, which is in itself a commercial good. Then of course what is going to happen is that your people are not going to have the money, one, because some banks might not be ready to help them. Two, they are going to be stayed out of international trade properly. It has to take them a lot of mobilization of local resources before they can be able to import. And the other countries will be engaging, because he knows that at one point in time my document is commercially tradable. So somebody can take it out from me and be in the hands of a final destination. They will be engaging them. And at the end of the day, it will not even sit well with you because your indirect taxes, and we are dependent on that. So I think that I don't think Ghana would have made a mistake if it wasn't ready to even host the Accra Convention. So I think that I don't even think of it, of the impact negatively, but I think that we should go for it.
Let's look at the government and the private sectors. What's your recommendation for these two entities so that we can have the maximum benefit, or we can maximize our benefits from this document?
Yes, thank you. From the point of view of government, I think that, as I said, the Ministry of Trade, working with the other ministry, agencies and departments, should be able to sign this convention. And once that is done, it's become the collective responsibility of all other arms of government, especially Ghana Shippers Authority, Ghana Port, Chambers of Commerce, AGI, and those of us who are into the other side of the technical assistance, to engage in the awareness creation about this, so that the business community will get to know that this document exists, it is new, how can they access it, how can it be used, and then what benefit there are for them. So it's going to be a collective action or collective effort to maximize the benefit that is this document is to give us. So collective effort in the sense that government signed the document and then make it available for all of us to study, and then the other arms of government support by doing the publicity. Publicity is a bad word, but awareness raising, sensitization, to educate the targeted community about the availability of this initiative and how it's going to help them.
Okay, Louis, you want to add on to the recommendation? He said everything. Okay, so I think that it's key. It's very important that, I mean, once we've all done the Accra Convention, and so you say in October it will be signed, and the fact that if Ghana doesn't partake, we'll be left behind. So there's a need for us to mobilize everything together and ensure we enjoy this document to the maximum. But the other issue has been the fact that the Caribbeans are going to be brought on board. I mean, just as the president announced this week that he's facilitating something like that so they can join after. That means expanding or strengthening trade and investment. But the first question that people are asking is, this is Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Is there any possibility of the Caribbean joining this? Because this is a document primarily for Africa.
Well, I would say that this is a good time to be an exporter.
Okay.
And because, you know, the beauty of it is that if the president of Ghana succeeds to convince his counterpart, then we are going to enlarge the market opportunity for Ghanaian exporters. And from the legal point of view, or document, as you say, you know, in every document, in every agreement or protocol, there's a provision made for amendment.
Okay.
Okay. And when you look at it from, let me say, from document point of view, there's something we call substantial issue.
Okay.
So this new, this idea coming from the president is very laudable.
Okay.
But it is interesting in the sense that the president of Ghana is likely to become the chairman of the AU next year.
Okay.
I want to believe that this is part of the new initiative that you want to
champion. Okay.
You will champion as a chairman. And it is doable
based
upon the influence and then the weight that he carries among his colleagues.
Okay.
And you can only succeed by building consensus.
Okay.
It's not going to be just forcing anybody, but you need to build consensus around it. And international negotiation, wherever it is, it's about consensus building. Share your idea, get people to buy into it, and then you move on from there. It's going to be a process. It will take some time, but it is doable. And when it is done, the economic, the market opportunity, and then the benefit that there is very large. Mind you, the Caribbean, as they are, we have like 13 independent nations and then 13 territories. That makes it a combined total of 26 countries. Their population is about 40 million, okay? And their combined GDP is about 420 billion. What more do you want as an exporter?
Okay.
Let's go and do business with of our people from our own. And then they're African, historically.
Definitely.
We have some connection.
Sure.
Let's extend the benefit of this to them, and together we create the prosperity that we want. Jobs will come, industrialization, and everybody will be happy for it.
Louis, what does the Caribbean joining after mean for continental free trade?
You see, there are three basic scenarios.
Okay.
We talk about African Development Bank, but the structure of the shareholders are not Africans. The large shareholders are not African origin.
Okay.
But still, it's called African Development Bank.
Interesting.
You come to African Continental Free Trade. 55 countries, 54 has ratified, yet he's still in Africa, Eritrea. So it's about trade. Trade is about rules, laws, conventions, and what have you. The question is that if you look at the agreement, the layer that established African Continental Free Trade, it's in layers. They said, if you look at the preamble, it said the preamble, we African, so and so. So at one point in time, it evokes territorial issues, whereby it now applies to territories within. But if you look at the rules of origin, it uses approach, it says preferential treatment or most favored nation. Therefore, it is going to be easier because even the ASCFTA, it's after 5 years, it's subject for review. So after 5 years, His Excellency can evoke that and say, look, I think that the Caribbean, we've been trading with them. I think that we can extend a certain, like rights and amendments to see whereby they can trade. All that you do is that for that region, then we can give them a certain, either we are giving them preferential treatment, extend it to them. But if they were physically here, then we're going to say that, okay, it was going to buy because of the territorial issues.
Okay.
So, and again, beyond that, one important thing we also have to look at is that Ghana has already declared the diaspora as the 6th region, as the 7th region.
Okay.
The president, I think the ambassador in the US, they did so well. You've declared the diaspora as the 7th region of Ghana. Why? Because, and then if you go to the UN too, if you go to the, I think there you have the diaspora chapter. All this is a way to integrate.
Okay.
So it's all about regional integration. If you recall, His Excellency Dr. Ben Chambers,
okay,
he was Secretary General for, I think, something Pacific and the Caribbean.
Yes. Yeah,
you know, so it's about trade, it's about rules, laws, and conventions, which when we amend it, and don't forget that laws are also based on cultural traits and historical bindings. And we feel that we have a historical ties with the Caribbean. And so that can be, you know, like I said, after all, when Nigeria, when they were ratifying the after, a lot of countries went ahead. Nigeria didn't ratify, but it was still trading under EU. So that bit wouldn't be difficult
at all.
At all.
Yeah. So once that amendment is done, it is easy to bring them on. But let's look at the biggest potential. Agro-processing, creative arts, tourism, fintech, shipping, health. Which sectors will be the biggest, or which sectors are going to have the biggest, how do I benefit from this?
Well, if you ask me, I think that everything is on the table.
Okay.
The agreement, after agreement, you realize that the first round of negotiation, what we have now is trade in goods, trade in services, and then the dispute resolution mechanism.
Okay.
With the trade in goods, which is more we are working on now by like elimination of tariff and tariff barriers, and then educating the business community on the rules of origin and all that. All that we wanted to do is that in Africa, we have the potential to produce and consume our own thing, our own goods. So if that is possible, what are the hindrances? We identify the fact that there are some tariff and non-tariff barriers. So under the agreement, we wanted to work towards removing those barriers so that the goods that is produced in Ghana can reach our colleagues in Kenya or
African
Tanzania,
countries,
and the other way around. Okay, so by extension, and the agreement, you also have the trading services, and as it is now, a lot of work has been done to align the agreement when it comes to the priority areas like finance, tourism, transport, business service. And tourism is a very important GDP, it contributes to our GDP significantly.
Yeah.
And especially this December, you know, the December season, a lot of our own people travel to Ghana to take advantage of this opportunity.
Exactly.
So when you look at it in all, the opportunities are there, are huge, but just that we need to organize ourselves. The business community need to organize and take advantage of this opportunity, and they need the support of government because the business alone cannot do it.
So he talks about tariffs as one of the possible barriers. What are the practical barriers in trying to bring these people on board?
In trying to deal with Caribbean, you mean?
Yes.
So basically, tariffs are the engine of barriers when it comes to normal trade. So when there are non-tariff barriers, it can be quotas, it can be, what do you call it? It can be licenses, it can be technical barriers and what have you. But the one issue has to do with the territory, as I was mentioning.
Okay.
You see, the one difficulty is going to be territorial in terms of movement. And you see, distance over time is very important. And so, how long will it take for goods to move from Egypt to Cotonou?
Okay.
How long will it take for goods from Bahamas to Cotonou? So, you are looking at in terms of one tangible obstacle could be in terms of just the physical distance. But all other ones are paperwork. So the physical distance, like I said, it can be mitigated. It can be mitigated. After all, how many Africans own the shipping lines?
Few.
We don't own much. In fact, the only one I know in Ghana that is called after trading ship was the Magdan. Even that one, I don't know how far.
Okay. So, but how do we handle standards, SPS measures, custom procedures? Because we're talking about different regions here, 2 different regions, Caribbean, and then the other side. How do you handle some of these things?
It's about documents, laws, conventions, and what have you. So that harmonization is the issue. When you harmonize, okay, for example, even after itself, after came, Africans were trading.
Yeah, true.
So what is different? It's harmonization.
Okay.
How can we need to harmonize institutions. We need to harmonize, just like if you look at, let's drift a bit to the law side, International Criminal Court of Justice.
Okay.
When every country adopts that this attitude or this action is internationally condemned, and therefore, if they are looking for Mr. A, once he comes into your jurisdiction, arrest him for us. I'm just giving an example. Yeah. In the same way, institutions can be harmonized, irrespective of their origin. So we can harmonize the African institutions here in terms of customs. Mind you, even the ASCFT, it didn't say we don't have external custom yet. It says we shall have custom cooperation and management.
Okay.
Because we are not there yet. That is why you find it difficult. You go to another country, the custom procedures are a bit different from what you have.
Okay.
So it means that once institutions are going to be harmonized, it doesn't matter whether they are in UK. It is a convention.
Okay.
And once they are, and don't forget, they can be given observer status.
Yeah.
At the WTO. Though Africa doesn't have one observer, but we can give them observer status. So it means therefore that after Secretariat, why not? Then over there, they also have what we call a regional body. So if there's a Caribbean as a regional body, we also have a regional, an observer status.
Okay.
So that will ensure the implementation of whatever rules, laws must be harmonized. Whatever institutions must be harmonized. Even and after, they are not trying to put this together. ASU, Africa is in Niger. They are trying to make it a regional harmonization for standardization, so that whatever is done at Food and Drugs Board, well, it will be the same look-alike when you go to Nigeria. It will be the same when you go to Niamey. It will be the same when you... So it can be done. Okay. It can be done.
Okay, it can be done, of course, and if you look at the opportunities. Definitely, Ghana shouldn't be left behind. But what role are you looking at banks and development financial institutions to play in this whole, in funding this Africa-Caribbean trade?
Well, it is early days yet, but if we finally arrive at a point where we manage to get our Caribbean counterpart to join the AFTA agreement, what will happen is that we also have to work with the financial institutions. So trade finance, what are the requirements? What are the modalities that exporters need to meet before they can get grant from the bank? It may also lead to a situation whereby some of the banks currently operating in Africa or in Ghana will have to have a branch or open a branch in the Caribbean. You know, and if you do that, it increases job. You see, because. And then with the use of the digital, electronic means of doing business, the distance, it is not an issue as far as the banks are concerned. But all that you need to do is register and then satisfy both the legal and then the national requirements in order that you can have access to finance.
It is a good call, and the banks should. The financial institutions should be watching, even including insurance companies. Why? Because just as in any free trade agreement, whether trading goods or trading services, if you take the trading services, I mean, Bright started it, talking about, if you take the trading services, there are issues that are liberalized. There are services that are liberalized under a free trade. So if you liberalize services, could be financial service, what it means is therefore that the only difference is that these services is not going to be assigned with trade rules of origin. It's going to be assigned with offer and national interest. In other words, so a bank in Africa, maybe Ghana, like this, or Afro-Asian bank can say, look, I want to pitch in Bahamas or Trinidad. If we have harmonized and we have adopted that they should be members, then a bit of it, the services can be liberalized on national interest and acceptance. In other words, the bank in Bahamas can say that, oh, I have too many development banks I don't need. I need an investment bank. Then the bank here can pitch over there. The same way they can also pitch here. If the bank says, I don't have agricultural banks, and I think I prefer an agricultural bank, you look around the sub-region, which banks are good in agricultural bank? You pitch over there. Because once it becomes a regional liberalization, then the countries that will ratify there, they are the ones it's going to bind. So if even in the Caribbean, some countries are not interested, and there are five. That five, once they ratify, and once those services are liberalized, then we can have that negotiations. It can be bilateral. And that can be, in fact, this has been the best time to start talking about. After all, Afro-Asian Bank has been organizing Caribbean investment summits every year. Every year. Yes, every year they organize Caribbean investments and Caribbean investments. What is the reason?
This could be one of the reasons for all of this. But if you just joined us, you're watching Eye on Port. Eye on Port is brought to you by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. When I return from this break, we'll be looking at what important role Ghana should be playing in leading the Caribbean integration. Also, we'll be talking about how to move this from just talk to action. Again, we're told by a survey that only 13% of Africans are aware of AFTA. And the question is, why should a market woman in Accra be worried because she doesn't know about AFTA? All of that after this break. Please stay with me.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, the pay of taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Every day we step out with purpose to work, to build, to provide, to dream. But sometimes life takes an unexpected turn. An accident, a fire outbreak, a medical emergency. Moments we never planned for. And when they happen, the right support changes everything. Hi, I'm Serena, and at Serena Insurance, we stand with you through every challenge and every victory. Protecting your family, your business, your job, your future, and you. Our services include motor, fire, marine, engineering, aviation, and bonding guarantees are tailored to suit your need. Because insurance is not just about policies, it's about peace of mind, confidence, and knowing that no matter what happens, you are covered. Visit our website to view our insurance policies right now. Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302-246319 or 0302-246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Across the corridor and every major yard, Chapter is the choice of over 11,000 professional drivers. Visit our kiosk to register. Join a community built on safety, savings, and success. Get your official high-vis gear and your personalized Chapter ID, your key to a smarter journey. With over 11,000 members, you are never driving alone. This is the Chapter standard of excellence. Tap your card for instant fuel discounts at Shell. Save more on every fill and keep your profits high. Maximize your earnings with our real-time load board. Find your next haul instantly.
You're welcome back to Iron Pot. Iron Pot is brought to you by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA. So before I went on that break, we're talking about the president announcing that he's working at bringing some Caribbean countries to join AFTA. That means strengthening trade, strengthening investment, and we'll be looking at the opportunities, the challenges, and what Ghana needs to do to champion this cause. We've also been talking about the fact that only 13% of Africans are aware of AFTA. Why is that the problem? But before we continue the conversation, let me announce that you can also join the conversation via our WhatsApp dedicated line. It will be on your screen very shortly. We would also open the phone lines for you to also join in the discussion. In fact, the WhatsApp number is 0538037353. Send us your comments, your suggestions, your ideas, and we'll read them right here on the show. If you have some questions too, I have these two fine brains who know everything about the topic we're discussing, and they will provide the answers for you. So let me come to you, Louise, because I think I ended with Bright before I went on that break. What should be the specific role that Ghana should be playing? Because we are hosting the AFTA Secretariat, what role should we be playing to lead this Caribbean integration?
I think that, just as His Excellency the President said, it starts at his level, because the DSCFT has architecture, and it starts with the heads of states. Once the heads of states, in fact, normally it needs to start with the Council of Ministers. Then it moves to a certain level, but it finally backs with the heads of states. So if it's starting from him, then that is great.
Okay.
Because then the leaders take a decision, it's adopted, and then it's going to be implemented. So Ghana, if His Excellency takes the seats next year, I think that he should push the button.
Okay. In terms of quick or immediate steps, what are the 3 immediate steps that should be taken to move this from announcement to actual trade?
Once he tables it, right now, it has become a desire. But this time, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Trade, Ghana should be preparing the groundwork so that come next year, when he is at the extraordinary summit of the heads of state, that ground, just as we did for the slave, the reparations. Is the reparations? You see how it started?
Yeah.
And how it ended. So the institutions should do institutional work now. If you look at the ASCFTA here, how we ended up winning the bid to host here.
Okay.
The previous government did what we call interministerial committee. So he made sure that there were certain institutions, about 7 institutions, that came together. So now the president has spoken. So I'm expecting certain institutions to now sit down with him and say, look, this is a fantastic idea. Let's do the paperwork. Let's do the groundwork now. And then come next year, once you assume, it's not now that we are going to go reinvent the wheel. We'll now table what the groundwork to the your colleagues at the extraordinary summit. So I think if you ask me immediately, we should start the talk, the actions, with some groundwork.
Right now. Okay.
And,
right.
If this week or last week, already the Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Samuel Kujato, he inaugurated a committee with the objective or terms of reference, among other things, is to prepare the work plan for the president before he assumed office next year.
Okay.
So I want to believe that this idea will be part of that committee's work, and they will have to fashion out the modalities of making this dream
a reality.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we jump onto the awareness bit, let me take a few of the messages that are coming in. And this is from Abiba Samed from Osu, who says only 13% awareness is worrying. Who exactly has faith to communicate after to the ordinary Ghanaian? I think we would be getting answers, or probably let me get the answer right now. Why do we have only 13% of Africans knowing about after?
You know, let's take it one by one.
Okay.
You know, sensitization or awareness raising about this type of agreement, this international convention or agreement, it is not done by public service announcement. It is done through targeted messaging. So that targeted messaging is such that you have to identify the relevant stakeholders.
The target audience.
That is one. The second point is that we need to realize that AFTA came into being, like, signed 2019. And the first time they do a meaningful trade under this agreement was 2021, 2022. And this study was done, so from 2022 or 2019 to today, we are talking about the space of what, 5 years or 6 years. For me, I think that the 30% is a good attempt, even though there is more room for improvement. The awareness raising is a work in progress. We have to start from somewhere. So normally in situations like this, you start with the policymakers, the relevant policymakers, government ministry, department and agency, okay? Then you target the economic, the business community, the operators, the exporters. You know, recently I was invited to do training for exporters. And during the course of my training, or before I even started training, the first question that I asked my audience was, have you heard of AFTA?
Okay.
And almost all of them say, yes, indeed, they've heard of it, but they don't know
what exactly
the detail.
It is.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is why the issues of capacity building comes in, awareness raising. Third, under the provisions, one of the provisions in this particular agreement is the Office of the National Coordinating Secretariat. Okay?
Yeah.
In every member state need to have this office.
Okay.
Ghana, we have that office. And currently it's being headed by my senior colleague, Mr. Dodi Seydou, a very intelligent young man. You see, the office responsibility involves a lot, but they themselves cannot do all the thing. And they also need resources to be able to do the sensitization very well.
Okay.
The question is that, what is the budget of that office as we speak? What I do know is that the After National Coordinating Office get a lot of support from GIZ, our donor.
Yeah.
And they also get some support from Trademark Africa. But the donor support is not enough. Government need to increase. The Ministry of Trade need to do more to allocate budget. We are expecting that the next budget that will be read, some significant budget allocation will be made for this office so that they can take the message to the people. From the policymakers, then we go to the ports, we go to the border community, we go to the business community, then we educate them. And this awareness raising is not going to be done by only one person. We need to involve the Chambers of Commerce, Ghana Shippers Authority, and other agencies, or even the private sector. Africa Trade Academy and all these institutions are there to provide technical assistance and then help us to all to take advantage of this unique opportunity.
Okay. So, Louise, so what if I don't know about after?
Let me take you a bit back, trajectory. The ASCFTA, its 13% is really appalling, to say the least, in Africa, and I'll tell you why. The agreement sensitization and advocacy has mostly focused on the trade bit of it, more than even talking about the employment.
To provide the exact details you need,
employment,
could you share what topic?
And aspect of it. So sometimes it looks as if people who don't think they belong to a certain trading brackets don't see themselves to be part of it. That is where the issue of those in the services, about 12 priority services, where professionals are there, where people who might not necessarily be in physical trading. Now, let me take this problem in twofold. When the agreement was adopted in 2018, it was sitting under African Union Commission of Trade. Let me tell you something. And when it was there, we had phase one. Phase one did all that we are talking about, trading goods, trading services, what have you. And that time, the team, the drafters, the technical team that were there, they included governments and the private sector and consultants like us. So we're going around negotiating, traveling here and there. Then that it was adopted. Then there came the issue of the Secretariat said they want to be autonomous. So what happened? Immediately, all those who were at that, they said, bring all of them here. We'll start the phase 2, phase 3 negotiation ourselves. So it left a lot of
work on
expertise and structures left unattended to. I recall in 2019, 2020, the Minister of Trade, Minister of Foreign Affairs, I met them at the conference center. They were looking for CVs to initially employ people at the Secretariat when we were getting. Why? Because they didn't have it. So the structure already broke. Then Minister of Trade picked up. I personally went to Minister of Trade 2017, 2018. I said, show me a roadmap, a blueprint of your advocacy program for after. They didn't have any.
They didn't have it.
Then came one that was started called Presidential Dialogue on ASCFT. It was doing very well under ASC and the Ministry of Trade. Then the ministers of the Council of Ministers realized that this was not going nowhere. So what happened? They said, let us set up, every country should have coordinating offices, but it should be under the Ministries of Trade. Now, one thing we should not forget, look, awareness creation broke down in Ghana 3 years ago. And let me tell you why.
How?
Yes. Sensitized. You see, when we were given the signs on the wall that, look, advocacy, we were told then that, oh, right now we have moved away from advocacy, we are doing implementation. But that's even far wrong. The agreement has nothing to do with advocacy and implementation. They go together. So they say, oh, we are no more interested. So what will happen that instead of raising budget themselves, they were depending so much on donor support for programs. And so they cut off advocacy. And advocacy is not something you end today. It's supposed to be consistent. Look, and again, if you take after Secretariat itself, go to their programs and institutions. When asked for the programs itself, they themselves have tailored when it comes to advocacy. In the after, what we call the BIAT, boosting traffic trade, that is the paperwork, that is the cardinal of how you can measure whether ASCFT is growing. And one of them is trade information. And under trade information, you are supposed to use the African Trade Observatory, you are supposed to use trade associations, you are supposed to use policy institutions to work together. And I tell you something that will be sad. You might not be, look, Policy Network, we started 2017. We started advocacy in Ghana and Africa first. We adopted programs where we use social media. And we're reaching far and wide. Let me tell you today, right, you might hear. There was a meeting at the After Secretariat. And in the course of the meeting, people who were there said, no, let's ban APN. Let's ban them. They are going too far for advocacy. Then one of their directors said, you can't do that. We don't have presence in African regions.
So they are doing the work for us.
We've got policy people who are doing the advocacy. You say, no, we shouldn't. That attitude is what has been translated in most of the institutions. Like I said, under the previous government, they instituted interministerial committee. So Ministry of Communications or Information was doing something. Ministry of Foreign Affairs was doing something. Let me tell you, these days, most of the donor funders are not interested in advocacy again. They are interested in the implementation. That's where are the people exporting? Are the people producing? are the people really selling and trading? Because if you say advocacy has ended, people who don't know that I don't have to be a trader to belong, but I can be a teacher and know that under ASCFTA, as a professional, I can go to any other country where my services are needed to trade because I've been liberalized. So it's still not there yet.
Okay.
As for example, for me, my suggestion, Bryce raise institutions, policy institutions, NGOs, and non-governmental. Government is not enough. Government should go look for the money. Government has the resources. Put it as a percentage in your budget. Then collaborate. I personally even went at the time, about 3 years ago, to some of these institutions. Give us the advocacy work, we'll do it.
So government must mobilize the funds.
No, collaborate with institutions.
So that we can have
the
advocacy.
Far. They have members.
And they have what it takes to do the advocacy.
APN is everywhere in Africa. Other institutions are everywhere.
Yeah.
They can do advocacy better.
Okay. I think we're running out of time. Let me give Bright some 30 seconds to wrap up for me. How do we bridge this gap?
The gap relative to the awareness gap, raising.
Yes.
Oh, I think that I hold the view that awareness raising is a continuous process.
Sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
So as we work hard on the other technical issues relative to the agreement, the awareness raising will continue. But as it is, the process will require a lot of resources. It will require some expertise. And that expertise, I think that we have it.
Yep.
All that we need is a political will to make the resources available for the team concerned to get the job done. You know, the unfortunate thing is that the US government, who in the past gave a lot of financial support for some of these things, is no more doing so. So there's a gap.
Okay.
But the gap needed to, we have to work with government to get to this. So what I'm expecting the current leadership of the National Coordinating Office is to work together with the sector minister, engage the committee, the trade committee in parliament as they are preparing budgets, so that through that engagement, some substantial money or budget can be voted for the team to go and get their work. They have a work plan. All that they need is that the resources to be able to go out and get the job done.
Let me thank you so much for coming to the studio. I'm truly grateful for your time. If you just joined us, you're watching Iron Pot, and we've been discussing after trade and how to make it better. The president announced that he'll be bringing on board some Caribbean members to join after to make it better. We've also been looking at the awareness gap and how we can bridge that gap. Louis Afo, he's an international trade after an investment promotion consultant. Thank you so much for your time. Bright Gowono is Chief Technical Advisor, International Trade, Africa Trade Academy. I'm so grateful, extremely grateful, gentlemen, for your time. Viewers, thank you so much for watching. If I was unable to read your messages, apologies. We'll be reading them next week, God willing. And also do make time to watch the abridged version on GTV, 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Honorable Betty Crosby is in the house tonight, you guys. You've worked with the